We've talked about the mean already, and we know how to find the mean, right? You add up all the data values, and then you divide by however many data values you have. So today we're going to revisit the mean and talk about the mean in terms of a concept called deviations. So I'm going to start here by finding some examples of three numbers that will average to 20. So I'm looking for three numbers so that when I add them up and divide by 3, I get 20. So what are some examples of three numbers that have an average of 20? Well, of course, the easy one is going to be 20, 20, 20. Okay, so we got the easy one out of the way. So what are some other examples of three numbers that have an average of 20? Okay, so I picked some for you. 19, 20, 21. Okay, you can check, add them up, and then divide by 3, and you should get 20. Two other examples, 8, 22, 30, and then 5, 10, 45. Okay, check them. If you add them up and then divide by 3, you do get 20 in each of these cases. Okay, what are deviations? So what I want to do here is make a table of deviations for these examples. So I'm going to skip the easy one and talk about these three examples. Okay, so starting with the 19, 20, 21, I'm going to first list out the data. So 19, 20, 21. And what deviations are really distance from 20. So how far is 19 from 20? How far away is 19 from 20? It's 1 away. Okay, and then we're going to use positive, negative numbers to indicate whether it's below or above. So 19 is 1 below 20. So that means it's -1. 20 is 0 distance from 20. So that's going to be 0. And then 21, how far is 21 from 20? 21 is 1 above. Okay, so that's going to be a +1. Okay, so that's for 19, 20, 21. So let's do the same thing for 8, 22, and 30. So 8, 22, 30. Okay, how far away is 8 from 20? It's 12 below. So this would be -12. If you can't tell by just staring at it, you can always just do 8 minus 20. Okay, so 8 minus 20 is -12. 22 minus 20 is +2. And then 30 minus 20 is +10. But what it means is that 30 is 10 above 20. And then -12 means 8 is 12 below 20. Okay, so for the last example here, 5, 10, 45. Right? How far away is 5 from 20? If you can't tell, just do 5 minus 20. So 5 minus 20 is -10. Or -15, sorry. How far is 10 from 20? Subtract 10 minus 20, -10. And then finally, how far away is 45 from 20? 45 minus 20 is +25. Those are deviations. So now what I want you to do is stare at these three tables and see if you notice something. Okay, keep staring. What do you notice? What do I get when I add up these deviations? -1 plus 0 plus +1. What do you get when you add up these deviations? You get 0. Okay, that's interesting. Do the same thing for this. What do you get when you add up these deviations? negative 12 plus 2 plus 10. Also 0. Okay, very interesting. What about this last one? So what do I get when I add up these deviations? So negative 15 plus negative 10 plus 25. All right, if you need to, use a calculator. Negative 15 plus negative 10 plus 25 is also 0. Very interesting. So this is a fact. So anytime you take a set of numbers and look at the deviations from the mean, so the distances from the mean, the deviations will always add up to 0. Okay, so that's a fact. So that's a special property of the mean. Okay, so I'm going to go back here and talk a little bit about the median versus the mean. So when we talk about the median, I said it was the middle number. So it's the middle number in the sense that it balances how many is above versus how many is below. So this is the median because there's 2 above and 2 below. 19 is the median because there's 3 data values above and 3 data values below. So the median balances how many are above versus how many are below. The mean, okay, the mean balances in the sense that it balances the deviations, the positive deviations, together with the negative deviations, right? The positive deviations here together are 12, and that's balanced with the negative deviation, which is negative 12. Over here, the positive deviation is plus 25, and that's balanced with the negative 15 and negative 10, so that's together negative 25. Right? So the mean balances in the sense that it's balancing the deviations, which is the distance from the mean. All right, let's use what we just learned to do something interesting. Example 1 says, find 5 numbers that have a mean of 45, a median of 37, and a mode of 30. I'm going to make a deviations table, just like on that first page. Now, I want deviations from what number? So we're always looking for deviations from the mean. And what's the mean that I want here? I want 5 numbers that have a mean of 45. So I'm looking for deviations from 45. And I'm looking for 5 numbers, which means there should be five blanks here, along with 5 deviations. Okay. I want a median of 37. What does that mean? What's the median? The median, remember, is the middle number. So this is telling me I want the middle number to be 37. This is the middle blank. So this is telling me that I want this blank to be 37. And I want a mode of 30. The mode, remember, is the number that occurs most frequently. So I need 30 to happen most frequently, which means I need at least 2 30s, right? And the way I'm going to organize my table here is my low numbers will be up top here, and my bigger numbers will be at the bottom. So I need at least 2 30s, so they should go up here. And that's really all I have room for, right? I can't put 30 here because, right, I want the bigger numbers down here, right? So this is 37, so I want numbers bigger than 37 down here. So I really only have room for 2 30s. So we're good there. Okay, I have 2 missing numbers that I need to find, but before we do that, let's fill in the deviations. So deviations, how far is 30 from 45? It's 15 below, right? That's going to be negative 15. If you can't tell just by looking, just subtract, right? So 30 minus 45 is negative 15. 30 minus 45 is again negative 15. 37 minus 45. 37 minus 45 is negative 8. Now, the deviations, remember, need to add up to 0. So my deviations need to add up to 0. So what do I have so far? I have negative 15, and negative 8. So far, negative 15 plus negative 15 plus negative 8 is negative 38. Which means these last two deviations together need to balance that out. So these last two deviations together need to be plus 38, right? In order for me to get a 0 at the end. So here you get to pick. So pick two numbers that will add up to be plus 38. Okay, any two numbers that will add up to be plus 38. Now let me back up. Not any numbers. So I could go plus 19 because that does equal plus 38. But I don't want to pick the same numbers here, right? So if I pick the same numbers here, that would mean that these two data values will be the same. But if these two data values are the same, then that means that I'm going to have a tie with these two 30s, which means I'll have another mode. But I don't want another mode, right? I just want the only mode to be 30. So I don't want these two to be the same, which means I need to pick two different numbers that add up to be plus 38. So any two different numbers that add up to be plus 38. So I'm going to go with plus 10 and plus 28. And now my two data values. This data value, this plus 10 means that this data value is 10 above 45. So what number is 10 above 45? 55, right? And then this data value, this plus 28 means that this data value is 28 above 45. So what number is 28 above 45? If you can't do it in your head, just go 45 plus 28. So 45 plus 28, 73, I think. Okay, use a calculator if you need to. All right, I think that's good. So I have a median of 37, right? Middle number is 37. Mode of 30, I have two 30s. And then I made sure that the deviations added up to 0, and that takes care of the mean being 45. So example 1 is good. Example 2. Find 6 numbers that have a mean of 32, a median of 36, and a mode of 40. I'm going to make a deviations table again. For this one, I want deviations from what number? Okay, we're always looking at deviations from the mean. What's the mean that I want here? 32. And for this one, we're looking for 6 numbers. So I should have 6 blanks, along with six deviations. Okay. It says I want a median of 36, so I want the middle number to be 36. What's the issue here compared to example 1? In example 1, since there's only 5 numbers, right, there was a middle blank. So we can just put the 37 in the middle blank. In example 2, we're talking about 6 numbers. There's no middle blank, right? There's 2 in the middle, but there's no single blank in the middle. So when you have a situation where there's not a single blank in the middle, we have to look at the 2 in the middle. Okay, so I need to look at the 2 blanks in the middle, which are these 2. And I want those 2 blanks to give me a median of 36. So what does that mean? that means I need to pick two numbers right here that have an average of 36. Okay, so I don't want to pick 36 and 36, right? Because I want the mode to be 40. If I go 36, 36, then I'm going to have two modes, right? It's going to tie with the 40. So I want to pick two different numbers that have an average of 36. So I think the easiest way to get two numbers that have an average of 36 is to go one below and one above. So one below would be 35, one above 37. Okay, you can check, add those up, divide by 2, and you'll get 36. So 36 is good. We got the median of 36, so we're good. Mode of 40 means I need at least two 40s. And the way I'm going to organize my table here is that my low numbers are up here, my upper numbers are down here. So I need at least two 40s, and 40 is bigger than 37, so it should go down here. And I only have room for two of them, so both of these are going to be 40. That should take care of the mode being 40. And then now I need to fill in these two blanks. Okay. Before I do that, I need to fill in the deviations. So 35 is how far away from 32. It's 3 above, so it's going to be plus 3. Right? If you can't do it in your head, just subtract. Right? 35 minus 32 is positive 3. 37 minus 32 is positive 5. 40 minus 32 plus 8. 40 minus 32 plus 8. But once again, remember the plus 8 means that this 40 is 8 above 32. Okay, so I want the deviations to add up to 0. Okay, so far, plus 3 plus 5 plus 8 plus 8. Together, that's currently plus 3 plus 5 is plus 8. 8 plus 8 is 16. 16 plus another 8 is 24. So far, these are plus 24, which means these two up here, to balance it out and get a total of 0, these two up here need to add up together to be negative 24, right? To balance out this plus 24. And now you need to pick two numbers that will add up to be negative 24. Okay, and once again, I don't want to pick two same numbers, right? Because if I pick two same numbers, these two data values will be the same, which means I'll have a tie with the two 40s, and I'll have another mode. And I don't want another mode, right? I just want 40 as the one mode. So I want two numbers here that will add up to be negative 24. That are different. So I'll go with negative 10 and negative 14. And then this data value should be, so this negative 10 means this data value is 10 below 32. So the number that's 10 below 32 is 22. And then this data value is 14 below 32. And if you can't do it in your head, just do 32 minus 14. So 32 minus 14 is 18, I think. Okay. Median of 36, we're good, right? We have two numbers in the middle that have an average of 36. Mode of 40, we have two 40s. That's good. And then we made sure that the deviations added up to 0, which takes care of the mean being 32. All right, so I think that's it for this section. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.